Communicate very well in a book that's just been released. I mean, adding author to your repertoire as well, and also, well, somebody who has written the book with you, Myan Subrayan. Welcome to the program. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you,
this relationship, how you came to meet Inga and work with him in this project, writing this book, I'm sure that's a very exciting story as well.
Yes, definitely. Inga and I got to know each other through his sister. We are friends with the family and got to see each other at the family functions, and I shared with Inga our story of growing up in South Africa, and I'm always joking about the fact that as an Indian in South Africa you're not regarded as black, but you're a half black.
Yeah.
But now that I'm in New Zealand, I'm all black, so there's a progression. And coming to New Zealand, I find myself in Inga's company and Ironi. They were really a blessing to me when I wrote my first book, From the Pit to Palace, where Ironi wrote the foreword and Inga contributed with the last word. And I think things just took off from then. Inga invited my wife Jolene and I to accompany him and his family to Samoa in 2007, where he was receiving his Matai titles from his mum's village and his dad's village. And you know, he introduced me to the media and the family and friends as his author. And I had people coming up to me in 2007 saying, "So what have you written for Inga?" So I don't know whether that was prophetic, brother, but you know, I looked at that and I shared it with Inga because earlier in the year, around April, May, he called me up and he said, "Would you like to come over to my office? I want you to write my book." So I got over to there and I said, "What's up with the book?" And he says, "Yeah, would you like to like my book?" And I said, "Yeah, I've been preparing for the last 2 years, you know, from Samoa." So, you know, working with Inga and being able to share his testimony, because that's what the book is, Andrew. You know, I look at Revelations 12:11, where it says, "And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and the word of their testimony." And that's what is so, you know, the standout thing for me in writing the book. I mean, when I've been to England in July to interview Jason Robinson, who God has used Inga tremendously to be an example for him. I mean, Jason Robinson says it in his own words in the book that, you know, he was going nowhere in terms of spirituality, but he observed Inga. And what caught his eye was the fact that Inga was introduced as a Christian. And he says very clearly that to them in the rugby league, I mean, if you thought rugby union was bad in terms of faith and Christianity, but rugby league was something where you know, they couldn't marry the two. He says, "We only went to church if there was a funeral, a baptism, or a wedding." And here was Inga the winger coming over and saying that he's a Christian. He says, whether Inga knew it or not, but I was watching him. And what he saw, he wanted. And cut a long story short, Jason gave his heart to the Lord, but through Inga's influence. And throughout the book, that's what you'll see. You'll see, or you'll read Inga standing up and not being ashamed of his faith. And
it's, I mean, a wonderful story of testimony. Now, much has been written about you, Inga, over the years. This is your right of reply. This book is, and well, a wonderful gift to give to somebody, particularly somebody who's perhaps a sports fan. They love their rugby, but perhaps don't really understand faith. I mean, your life is a living testimony about what Jesus has done in your life, Inga. And mine, as you were saying, it is that power of the testimony of lives transformed.
That's so powerful, Andrew, because I mean, even in talking to the chairman, the ex-chairman of Wigan, Jack Robinson, and he says it in the book. He says that when they heard that Inga was a Christian, you know, the misconception that they had was that being a Christian, he's going to be soft, he won't be hard on the guys. But Inga showed them that he could smash the opposition within the rules of the game, but really stop and go and be really concerned with them. And Jack used to say that used to really set the coach in a stitch, because he used to worry about, "Inga, get back in the line," because Inga is there checking with the opposition. "Are you okay, bro?" You know. So you know, the testimony part is really awesome, because even speaking to the commoners in the street in Wigan, they still remember him as being a good Christian guy.
Yeah.